March 8th of 2016, Chris was going to our warehouse. So as you know, we produce events. And so Chris founded the Route 66 Marathon, and we had the Center of the Universe Music Festival, and then we produced the entertainment for Tulsa's Oktoberfest. Chris was just going in to get something off a shelf. He had picked up another director to go with him since he had to climb up. It was kind of high, and we didn't have a forklift at the time. The next thing I know is I get a call from Tim that Chris had fallen off the ladder.
I remember firemen took me to the hospital. I remember wanting to go home because I hate the hospital.
By the time I got there, Chris had taken a really dramatic decline. And so they were asking him questions repeatedly, asking him to wiggle his toes and feet. And then within the first few minutes of me being there, his toes quit wiggling. And then soon after that, Chris's neurosurgeon, Dr. Auschwitz, came in. He drew a picture on the whiteboard, a big circle, and then filled about a quarter of it in and said, like, this is Chris's brain and this is the blood on his brain. And so we were like, wow. And Chris was like, this is the worst day ever. Like, what's going on? What do we do? And he's like, I'm gonna have to go in and remove the blood off his brain. And so Chris signed his paperwork, and then they instantly rushed him away. And from that moment on, our lives changed forever.
I was a freshman at the University of Oklahoma. I just walked into my dorm room, and my mom called me and essentially said, your dad is in surgery. He had an accident, and you need to get to Tulsa. We got to the hospital, and I remember riding the elevator up. I remember everything in slow motion and walking into the neurotrauma ICU and seeing my dad there with tubes out of his brain. It was very graphic and something that you see in the movies, and it was a very hard thing to see.
Just fully comatose on full life support, just unlike anything I'd ever seen before. You'd even imagine. He was so full of life just the night before when I spoke with him, and a total 180 had occurred within 24 hours.
To see your brother pretty much on life support is really hard, no matter what issues you've had in the past.
Hann being the family we are, we immediately started researching what we would have to do and trying to be ahead on every step forward.
After Chris had his accident, within the first year and a half, Chris was in the hospital system. So we went to 3 states and 11 different facilities. So different hospitals, different rehab centers, just to bring Chris back to Tulsa. And then even at that point, Chris wasn't stable enough to be left alone. I couldn't. So for meetings, I had to hire staff to be with him. And he wasn't able to transfer himself. He wasn't able to walk or go to the bathroom on his own. I mean, our life was severely different than what it had been before. And then so I've gone from, being a girlfriend to a caregiver, trying to run our company, trying to be a parent, and doing that all on your own, right? And especially when someone's telling you, like, we don't know what your future is going to be.
I've been told stories. I'm so glad I don't remember. I've just been told stories. There was one time when I guess they thought I was going away, but yelled or something. I came back, and I truly believe that God sent me back to do what I'm doing now, to help others.
We decided early on, like, if we could see Chris fighting, that we wouldn't give up. And I know not every survivor has that support system. And so that was huge for us, like, starting our foundation, and just to be able to see families together and see individuals who don't have families, and to be able to be there and just love them and support them and give them guidance and let them know, hey, it's okay, you're not alone. We're all going through this together. Initially, we thought we're going to start an activity-based therapy center. That was a huge catalyst in Chris's recovery and ability to be able to walk again. It's a type of continuum of care that we didn't have in Oklahoma. We had to drive to Dallas 5 hours each way. We drove every single week for 9 months. We do the math. That's a lot of time away from your home and your family. Now the facility that we have is incredible. It's so much more than we could have imagined in the very beginning. So we have an amazing community center. So we've already soft opened that side. So we've had multiple support groups. We've had other nonprofits come in and have meetings. We've hosted fire and EMSA police. We're on the Save Kids and Concussion Coalition. So we're using that site already, which is incredible. And now we're getting the gym and our rehab center side ready for Defy. And so we'll have activity-based therapy, strength training, physical therapists, occupational therapists, and then other therapies that we'll be bringing in that you don't find everywhere. And you certainly don't find them all in one space. And to make them all affordable. So what happens is, there's so many great facilities in town, but then your insurance maxes out. And if you don't have cash, you don't have a way to go. And if you don't have a way to pay, then you don't receive therapy. And so our model is an affordable model so that way people can actually continue to recover.
Having this foundation open, it means everything to me, more than anything I've done in my life, because very few people have the support I had. I wouldn't be here if I didn't.
So we're so grateful to everyone in the community that has got us this far, and now we're just taking off. Now we've got families we've got to provide for, and now we've got people who need therapy that we need to grant therapy to them if they can't afford it. Maybe they need resources or supplies, or they need a ramp for their house, or a wheelchair, or one of the many, many things that we offer families. Like, this is the time to give. This is the time that we get to make the biggest impact.